Alright, so your boy Ben Frank, what does he say? They who can give up essential liberty to attain little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Translation, something that we've all heard. What does it profit a man that he gains the whole world and loses his soul? And that's what I really thought about when like I said, heard her story or whatever, her saying that she wasn't getting what she was due, and then seeing what she was actually doing. Like, so you mean that you agreed to play this role in this game, and then you're not even getting paid for it? That's what it makes me think about. Like, what does it profit you to like be center stage like that? Like, it's really sad to see. Like, if you look at some of these artists, like if you put a collage of their portraits or pictures together, like it looks like a damn porno reel, like a porn flick. They look like porn stars rather than like rappers or artists or whatever like that. So it's obvious there's something going on, or there's a hand that's manipulating this or telling them that this is what's gonna sell or whatever, or an outright agenda to just deceive and get people to fall. Like, whatever it is, it's a sad equation. So that's really the basis of this video is what does that tongue mean? Like, why do so many female artists like have pictures or whatever, or they're doing that gesture? Like, what does it mean? They can't just be coincidentally doing that. Like, that's their go-to thing, to stick their tongue out the goddamn mouth like that. Like, I mean, common sense will tell you that's not nothing like becoming of a woman or whatever like that. Like, I damn sure wouldn't want, my daughter doing that, or my sister or anything. I mean, people gonna do what they want to do, but that's not something that I think that these ladies in this position should be portraying. Like, I hate to sound old school or whatever, and we can never go backwards, but what happened to people like when Queen Latifah was doing her thing, and like Lauren Hill? Like, what happened to that? Like, I know it still exists, so don't get simple. Like, I know that, but I don't think that this is a test of time to see that this is mainstream, that this is put out in the mainstream. So let's before we like really just jump into that, this is a little excerpt from the so-called Church of Satan's founder. I think his name is Anton LaVey. This is just gonna show you that these hand symbols that you see them using, it actually means something. It's not just rock and roll or entertainment or whatever like that. It means something. So this it's just gonna open up your mind to understanding that not everything is for something. So whether it's the tongue or the hand symbols, these gestures, everything is for something.
Some time ago, the wire services and newspapers carried a story out of San Francisco describing the first satanic wedding ceremony ever performed. The pictures showed a nude woman lying on the altar behind the guest, whom you see now, the Reverend Anton Szandor LaVey.
I don't know what year this is, but it's funny that it's in San Francisco, and we all know what kind of stigma San Francisco carries, or what kind of reputation, what people think about when you really think about San Francisco. And the first ever church of such and such was founded over there by this dude. So, okay.
Who is the founder and high priest of the first Church of Satan. Anton Szandor LaVey uses as somewhat of a credo this timeless quote: "Remember, evil backwards spells live."
And that's the thing. Like the law of reversal or whatever like that. It's scary to think about at first, because we're trained to not think about it, but it's really quite simple. They just do the exact opposite of what the Most High tells us to do. If the Most High tell us to go left, they gonna tell us to go right. It's really that simple, and all of that's playing. It's really been ingrained in our culture slowly over time, to where we're ass backwards, literally. We don't follow any rules. We don't follow any guidelines. We do what we want to do, and that's going to come into play too. But it's the law of reversal. If the Most High says man for woman, they're going to say man for man. They're going to do the opposite.
Somehow that never occurred to me.
It never occurred to me until one of my disciples brought it forth, and I imagine it's quite true with many of us.
How often do you have to shave your head to make it shiny like a devil?
I have to put Vaseline on it as well to keep it shiny. I shave it once a day.
And it may seem like nothing, but it is something. It made me think of this scripture right here. We're not supposed to really scalp our head like that, you know? Like we're not supposed to cut our beards off, you know, because it just does something to your masculinity. The hair is, it's so many reasons. We were just instructed not to skin our head like that. Like, and again, everything that the Creator says not to do, they do it. And this is what people mean when they say the devil knows scripture too. They know this stuff and they do it, and then they make you think that you do whatever you want to do. And that's how it plays out. Even into the job force, where some jobs make you get clean cut and all of that. Like, that's to make you go against what you ordained or instructed to do. And it happens, you know. People perish because of knowledge. We don't know who we are, so therefore we can't abide, or we don't take the time to read and actually apply what our Creator told us to do. We fallen in love with the religion of the world, and that's, you know, just do what you want to do and then just call on Jesus and then you're all right. That's not true.
Who ordained you a satanic priest?
I would say probably I received the call.
And that just makes me think about how it really plays out. Like, these artists, they probably are one thing or another in their towns, and these people prey on, you know, they prey on who they prey on. And, you know, like when you know, Christ was tempted in the mountains, and you know, Satan that was basically equivalent to an artist signing a deal today. It's tempting. It's like, you know, everything you want, you know, you can end your struggles on the other side of this. And they sell their soul. They fall down and they worship. They get down with the agenda at that point. That's what selling your soul really means. Don't let people make you think that there's not something behind it. It's always something behind something, and that's what's essentially happening. And even if these people don't really want to be down with it, they're doing it for whatever reason, and it's compromising themselves, because from that point forward, there's a ceiling put over their heads. They have to follow the script, and if they don't, that's the end. So whatever that script goes, or whatever that entails by joining into this practice right here, man, you can only imagine the things that they'll have you to do. He received the call, though.
Just as any fundamentalist...
Well, most of us do, but we fight it.
Why fight it? This is, of course, the whole principle of my religion.
Why fight it? Why fight it? But we hear all the time, resist the devil and he'll flee from you. But he says, why fight it?
Is all of the concepts...
What do you mean you received the call? You mean one day the devil said, go out, Anton Zandor LaVey, and give people hell? Huh? Is that what happened?
That's about it. Because people like to have a hell of a time, don't they?
And he's saying, like, you know, people like to have a hell of a time. And it says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. That's a misprint, right? Typo. But what that's basically saying is, people didn't know what was going on right before the flood happened or whatever. It was partying. It was going on like life as usual, kind of like right now. Like, people so damn, I don't know. It's just like right now. People are so engulfed in their lives and their status and trying to do what they want to do. They don't realize this society been over. This culture, this country been doomed. It's we on the brink. So if you were spending all your time trying to be a part of, that's all you know in the end times. That's all you know. That's all you know. Whether that's listening to these artists and these celebrities, whether that's being too engulfed in your job or monetary, like whatever it is, you were supposed to seek the kingdom first. You know, so it's like now, like this coronavirus thing. People they like when the TV tell them to panic, they panic. It's like the adult the adult fire drill. When they say it's the next big hurricane, everybody goes and buys up all the hotels. That's how they make sure hotels and they clear them shelves to restock. That's how they make sure everybody eat. There's a season for that. September, October, all that. Just pull the fire alarm. Tell them it's the biggest one ever. You know, play with your little weather manipulators and have people going crazy. Nah, it's this little virus thing, Corona, whatever. Corona. Everybody will buy up all the damn toilet tissue. Too late now. You fill up with all that shit and toilet tissue ain't gonna help now. You know, because them same people on that fear frequency, they believe in this culture. They believe in it. They too engulfed in it.
Only those that wish to become little devils.
And you gotta sign. You have to sign. They can't force you to do it. So that's why I don't feel sorry for him. So that's when he started talking about the hand signs. Pay attention.
I understand that. What are you doing?
I'm giving a blessing to the audience.
I don't think they appreciate it. They were throwing it back.
Well, they thought it was a curse. Would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works?
The sign of the curse?
This is the sign of the horn. A curse sign. The two fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast. You know.
I always figured if I ever met the devil, it'd have dirty fingernails. Go on.
Yeah, but when they do it, it's just what? It's just entertainment, or it's just having fun, right? It's just having fun, right? But everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. That one thing. What is all of this? What is all of this? Coincidence, right? But he just told you what it was. He just told you what it was, what the hand symbol mean. Keep in mind, they're making these people submit their will to the devil to serve the agenda. So we're going to find out what the agenda really is, but just pay attention.
Well, there are other ones, too.
Yeah, what are the other ones?
The other ones, one of them's the pox sign. That's three fingers extended.
A pox on you?
A pox on you. During the Middle Ages, this was used. But
I got one of Obama doing that. I need to put that in there.
You're a bad cat.
Well, you have to be bad to be good.
You got to be bad. Look at all these artists that always have these albums coming out where they so-called good girl went bad, or T.I. versus T.I.P. Like the dualism thing, the Beyonce, the Sasha Fierce, like the alter ego, that split thing. Like this is all a part of that cult, that religion, that Luciferian religion. This is what these people sign up for. This is what they do. And they come around you and they use that duality shit and they speak about God and stuff, but they're not talking about who you think they talking about, because they can't be, based off of all the scripture I got in here. We'll see. But pay attention. Look at all this, you know. And I'm going with the women, because this one is more so, it started with the all mocking tongue, but it's going to get into gestures. There's going to be several parts to this where I'm going to get on the dudes too, the rappers, and I'm going to show you how they're using the same things too. But this one was more so about the tongue, so that's why it's centered with the women. You'll see, and how they're deceiving our women to act and behave, and what the purpose is. Like, you know.
Is it true that you teach people how to make voodoo dolls and stick pins in them to hurt people?
That's right. I believe that hate is necessary in a controlled way just as much as love is necessary.
Okay, no man can serve two masters. For either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold on to one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon, man. Okay, so that's laid out just so you see how these people, this is obviously who they pledge their allegiance to. This is it started, when he said it started in San Francisco, and somehow, some way, which I'm going to show you how rock and roll merged with hip hop, and rock and roll was obviously our thing at first, but whatever it evolved to over time, it was the way that Satan could get his influence and his voice heard, if you will. And we all know that we've heard that Satan did something with Lucifer did something with music or whatever. Okay, well, pay attention. That's our problem. We think Lucifer is just a floating angel somewhere. Lucifer is right here on this earth, and it belongs predominantly to a certain group of people. So no man can serve two masters. Their masters are this Crawley dude and this Levy dude. See what he says, do what you want to do. Moses and our forefathers came and gave us law and order like that. He come and said, do what you want to do. This fool said, I'm glad the Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least one night out the year. And y'all do. Y'all do. If you let them do that Halloween shit like that, you think it's just innocent. That's the problem. You never, it's just for fun. It don't mean nothing. So why you doing it if it don't mean nothing? That's retarded. So that, like, he just keeping it real. He glad. Jay-Z do what y'all want. I'm pretty sure y'all have seen that. If y'all conspiracy this, conspiracy that, but that, like, is blatant. Do what y'all will. This is his master. So he parades around and, like, he's so smart. He ain't smart. He does what people. He's sinister enough to be bold enough to do what people won't do. He think it's smart to. He's an opportunist, and that's the most dangerous kind of person. Like, he's not no more smarter than the next person. He's just a Luciferian. He's down for the plan. He's a complete sellout. Complete. He don't care. He down with the devil. If it mean earthly monetary gain and success and status, look at the hand symbols. Hand symbols are showing you this is their god, their thing, Baphomet, the goat. You see Beyonce donning it in her little costume. This is who they're down with. This is their goat. This is who they pledge allegiance to. And remember, you can't serve two masters. Just remember that. It's blatant. It's obvious. You're going to see what they think. Goat rings. This is their god. This is their thing. And this is the vibration they put out on our people. They go crazy over them. I'm going to say, judge not according to their appearance, but judge righteous judgment. I got a lot of stuff in here for those thou shalt not judge people, or who are you to judge, or whatever. I don't know where that come from. It ain't nowhere in the good book or where it say that. That's some Christianity shit. And the Bible tells us to judge one another. If we don't judge, then how the hell are we going to hold each other accountable? How are we going to get better? How are we going to keep each other on that right path? All of this stuff is systematically taken out of us. It started with, in certain, cultures, was don't stop hating, all that hate, and everything is deemed as hating. If you got anything to go against the popular opinion or telling somebody the real, it's hating. So they kind of silenced the voice with that. And then now it's with this no bullying thing and all of that. It's just, they slowly but surely take the righteous judgment out of you. So this is what it's going to take for you to really discern and make a decision on all of this stuff. You use your righteous judgment and just, don't be stupid. Watch how she talks about God and she gets all emotional. That's one thing I noticed too. I think Cardi B got one too. I didn't really put all of them in there because y'all will get the point and y'all know this stuff. But when they talk about God, they always get, I think Rihanna did it too. They always get so teary and so passionate and, oh my God, I know God is real. But okay, well, y'all seeing all of the hand gestures and where it came from and whose picture doing it and okay, watch.
I don't know why I'm so fortunate and so blessed.
Really, you don't know why?
And I know that my mom always told me that my grandmother was in the church lighting candles and praying for her.
Lighting candles and praying. Like everything ain't something always, but you gotta pay attention. If these people are this deceptive to do this right in front of your face, you gotta treat them as such. So yeah, in certain ancient pagans and other pre-Christian faiths use candles and lanterns in their religions observances to honor their gods and ancestors. She just said her grandmother, with fire magic. In Wicca, a religion with pagan roots established in the early 20th century, candle magic is combined with other forms of magic such as elemental power, number, and color magic. It is essential for manifestation and spell casting. You never know. Who was her grandmother? It's funny, like I've heard this is her grandmother, Marie Catherine Laveau, born September 10th, 1801, June 15th, blah blah blah. It's kind of small, I can't see. Was a Louisiana Creole practitioner of voodoo, herbalist and midwife who was renowned in New Orleans. The Bible's clear cut on what it says about practitioners of all of these divinations and stuff like that, voodoo and all of that. Like, It ain't for us. So just giving you a backdrop. Pay attention. This stuff been going on. They been planning Destiny's Child. Beyonce been Destiny's Child. And it's funny, like I think Beyonce, and I know about this stuff too, because yes, I did study occult and all of that, and I was deep off into it because I didn't understand what I didn't. I'll explain that later. But I know about this stuff, so don't crucify me if I use things, talk about things like science. But attention to detail shows me that her grandmother was born in September, which makes her a Virgo, and Beyonce is also a Virgo, I think, born in September. So it's some weird stuff, man. Her grandmother's praying for her, and she comes back incarnated to do what? If your grandmother's praying for you, when I put that in there, yeah, it's basically saying that all the people she led astray, like she's leading people astray by doing this. But yeah, all the beehive and all of that. But let's finish it.
And I am a result of my grandmother's prayers.
Right. Yeah, this is what you're a result of. This is your grandmother's prayers. Right.
And my mother prays for me.
Right, because the same thing.
All the time. And I pray for my daughter all the time. And
because she's gonna be the next thing. Like, this is clear as day. Like, remember what this hand gesture means, and this is their newest little recruit, Megan Thee Stallion. She doing the all mocking tongue and showing you who she's down with. Beyonce doing a little one eye symbolism and welcome her on up, and here go the princess. Like, you're gonna train her up in the way to go too, just like train him up to be that same thing. He ain't gonna force it on him or whatever. You see what's going on.
God is real, and God lives inside of me.
God, the Most High is real. Yeah, Sasha Fierce lives inside. God is real, right? Sasha Fierce lives inside of you, right? You can't have two masters. You can't have multiple things inhabiting your body. So Sasha Fierce got your body. We know that. I know the Most High. I know, or I'm striving to know more and more. He ain't sharing space with Sasha Fierce. So who's God you talking about?
And inside of all of us.
After you spread it and put your little demonic stuff and chanting and doing all you putting your demons out there, yeah, inside of all the people in the beehive.
And it doesn't matter where I am. I know that, and I feel it. Like right now, I'm hot.
Yeah, you hot. Look at him, look hot. Look at hot.
It's a tingling. It's like, it's love.
Love of who? Court Lucy. That's who her love is. That's what her love is.
I feel it when I look at my child. I feel it when I look at my husband.
When she looks at her husband, look. He said that when you spread them wide open like that, it's like a shotgun. You spreading the curses to everybody, and she's showing you who she pledges allegiance to. That's the love she knows. She knows the love of the goat. She knows the love of status, fame, and all that fertility goddess shit she be invoking and taking all y'all wicked demonic energy and converting it to little blue Ivy Carter so they can continue the line and whatever. It says the acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery. Y'all forgive me. I'm reading off this thing. It's kind of small, so it's not that I can't read. But that I put that out there in front of, because we about to look at Rihanna now. I'm starting with the most commercial, the most mainstream, the most powerful women in my opinion, like Rihanna, and then Beyonce, and then like the Nicki Minaj prototype, which we see with Cardi B and Little Kim. Like, they rotate those ones more or whatever like that. But Megan Thee Stallion. So that, like, we about to see Rihanna, and this is what I think about when I think about Rihanna. Like, she's always just so overly sexualized and everything like that, not afraid to be naked, short, ninny, and all of that. And it's just funny, man. I heard this speech where she just talking about how the discipline and how she was raised and how things will get back. Just watch.
It's the thing that I go back to, having faith in God.
In God, look at it. Horns, demonic possession, horns. We know what them symbols mean. She done. Oh, you see the hand gestures. Look at this. Look at this. There's something. I mean, and look at it. It ain't about being perfect or none of that. But remember, judge righteous judgment. A lot of you ladies ain't never took no pictures and put it out there in the world like this. This is a lady with all this influence. This is what she does. This stuff, type of stuff right here. What part of the game is this? This look like some erotic porn stuff, man. Like, what is this? And all these young ladies, man, what is this? What is this? But God. Her faith in God. She showed you who she was allegiance with. And this is the type of stuff that her God have her do. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all lies, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning silver. This is the second death. So they get up here, they lie to y'all about what they're really doing. They lie to y'all about the intentions. They lie to y'all when they deceive you with the God talk. But they come and they throw all these gestures up in your face and they sing about leave your man, but she's married and to the left, and single ladies, and can you pay my bills, and that's been her thing. She's always been trying to empower women, and like it's a we're gonna get into it, but it's a spirit, Jezebel, Cali. Like, I'm gonna show you where it all comes from. But they're liars, they're sexually immoral, and they practice magic arts
Like that, even as a child. And I want to encourage not just the people of Westbury New Road and Westbury community.
You want to encourage to do what? Look at this little parade, Rihanna, when she's obviously got the Baphomet thing going on. Like, this is what she's invoking when all these people are lusting after her, and she's standing up on top, sticking her tongue out, and got her big body out there, and she's showing off, and she got these wings. Y'all don't know that she putting spells on y'all, man. This why we can't get along, man and woman and shit like that. They putting this demonic shit on our women, and it's transferring. Our men are lusting to it, making us weak and shit like that. Watch this shit, man.
But all of the people in Barbados, all the young women and young men who...
Look at that. This what she want to do. That's what she want to do. She want to influence all these little kids to do this. This is how they think you should make it. This is okay. If this is what Rihanna did to make it, then shit, ain't no telling what we could end up doing. Look at this. You can see, obvious as day. Look at this. This is what she be doing when she be doing this stuff. Invoking these different female goddesses and stuff like that for a purpose.
Who have dreams and think that the world is up against them. It is possible. So just keep believing.
This one was funny to me.
I want to give a special thanks to all my neighbors in Westbury New Road who all had a part and a hand in raising me and the woman that I am.
To do this.
The discipline that I have.
Discipline.
Let me tell you, you can't hide nothing in Westbury New Road here. You do anything, you mother could know before you finish doing it.
Can't do nothing. I know it's like on John's Island, it's the same way. Why I still don't do everything I do as a grown man. Look at this. I thought everything get back. Who would tell you? What your mama say about that? I'd like to know. What does her mama really think about her doing all that shit? All that stuff. I'm sorry.
So I'm very grateful for that kind of backbone, that kind of foundation, that I couldn't have it any better way, and I believe that I was here for a reason.
For a short time.
And I want you guys to just never forget that faith can go a very, very long way.
Then who? In that.
Very long way.
Diana, we think you are fantastic. We think you are this and much more. We hope you continue to come on first. We hope you continue to soar. R.I.
ain't nobody to be praising, man. And this is that scripture where it's saying, you deceived all these people, therefore your light will never shine. That's why I said for a short period of time. Look at this. Leading on, look at it. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. Preach the word. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. Don't let nobody despise you. It says, but he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judge of no man. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. This is just me putting a few scriptures together for those. Again, I told you I was going to do it for all those thou shalt not judge people, or you can't, who are you to judge? Like, we're instructed to judge, and we got to get out of that. We got to get out of that whole God love everybody, God is for everybody. It don't say that. Actually take the time and read your stuff. You love God, study and show yourself approved. Most people think Christ is just a love everybody, say I love Christ and he got you. No, he's not. It says, think not that I come to bring peace on earth. I came not to bring peace, but a sword. This is Christ talking. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The lost sheep was the people who actually, those little kids on the stage, praising Rihanna. They don't know that what she's involved in, or they can't put the pieces together. And I know people in the community look at her like, yeah, some people are proud, but a lot of people probably like, we know what you do. Naturally. But this is who Christ came for. He didn't come for everybody. He came for the people who are being oppressed. Just look at the people who really being manipulated in this time. The people who being force-fed all this garbage. These rappers rapping about garbage. These females garbage. All of them garbage. Hoes and sluts and porn stars as y'all heroes and shit. This is what we got to consume on a mainstream basis. Garbage. This is who Christ came for. Those people. He didn't come for everybody. And it says, I bear them record that they have a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge. Everybody can talk that God talk, and the innocent, they may be deceived, but they know that there's a creator. We all got a connection with the Most High, but it's not according to knowledge. It's not according to what his instructions, what he want us to do. We do what the world want us to do and rely on God as a backup plan, or we know he got it. No, he don't. He got you once you do what he say do. So we all know God is, or the Most High. I don't even like saying God. I come from that God's real stuff, but the Most High, we all know he's there and he exists. But most of us don't have that backed up with the knowledge and instruction. So we fall for stuff like this. All right, so moving on, let's now that we've seen how deceptive these people are, let's just try to figure out what the Bible says about this all mocking tongue and just the tongue in general. We all know, like, the tongue is a representative, or we can say life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you got to watch. Words are powerful. Words bring life and they bring death. So the tongue is an all mocking tongue, and this says that she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. In every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. So what that's basically describing is your modern day hoe, your thought, your Cardi B's, your Nicki Minaj's. Even if Cardi B is out there, but I mean, even if Megan Thee Stallion ain't out there, what she's portraying and influencing these women to behave like and put themselves out there, that's why that's what I think about when I see them sticking their tongue out their mouth like that. And that, look how poetic the Bible is. She'll open her quiver against every arrow. What you think that's saying? It's promoting these girls to be damn little hoes, man, be fast, And it's so crazy. After a woman has sex with more than one man, she's already, that's another topic. But just think about that. Look at this. These are y'all entertainers. What is this? Why do they all have their tongue out their mouth? And that one kind of alarmed me. She it's all about symbolism. She got a little buddy putting his little his finger up in the direction of her wide open mouth. It's all symbolic. This is what she signed up for. This is what she got 15. She done earned 15,000 for, or whatever, how much it ever was. This is what she sacrificed her mama for, and her granny and people for the fame, just to be this. and show your daughters and your sisters and your mamas that this is okay, and run hot girl summers and stuff like that, contaminating the little girls, destroying them, therefore destroying our future, because they ain't gonna do nothing but bring forth little demon babies. That's what the whole purpose is. That's what they signed up to do. Be whores or play whores in front of the world to deceive the people who gonna really follow, and get the rest of the, and it's crazy because the rest of the world follows us too, so the whole world is in shit right now. Look at this. Tongue, 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 tongue. That's all she do. This prototype, that's all they do. Tongue out the mouth, tongue out the mouth, tongue, tongue, tongue. They get tired of one tongue, they go to the next tongue. And one thing I noticed, man, half the time, man, these girl mouth be stink, man, because their tongue be white. Tongue be Snow White. I mean, if you a hoe for fun, for profession, I had a top tongue scrubber. Man, my tongue would be so pink. If I know my tongue gotta hang up my mouth all day long. There's a couple on here, man, I'm tongue coated Snow White. I know your mouth stinking. There's one thing in your mouth stink, it's white, but you ain't got your tongue all out your mouth, and that's one thing. But your tongue all out your mouth, you can't even have it, man. I was surprised, man. I know they mouth stink. But the thing say, who are you mocking? At whom do you sneer and stick out your tongue? Who are you not? The brood of rebels and the offspring of liars. And that's to touch on what I was just saying, like the offspring of liars. Only the offspring of vile people would feel comfortable with doing stuff like this, selling out like this, doing stuff that they know is either against their first mind or they no conscience. And who, like, that's the question to me. When I saw it sticking out of her tongue, and I just saw that video, like, what does that mean? Like, y'all not just doing this for no reason, so what do it mean? Who are you mocking? What you trying to say? And it said, I also want women to dress with modesty and decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes. This is just a little instruction to give you an idea of how the Most High wants his daughters to conduct themselves. And a lot of people get simple when they read this. I can't wear that. I can't wear braid. It's not to say that you can't do. It's to say, like, to bring so much attention to yourself as a female, you operate and you take yourself out the spirit. You start operating in the flesh. When you start operating in the flesh, you're susceptible to stuff like niggas hitting and splitting, like you putting out the wrong energy. It's just a cycle, like you fornicating, you committing all type of lustful of sins and stuff like that, and you start following people like this. So this is the opposite of what they do. They get up and they're naked, they look like porn stars, like I said. The opposite of what the Most High wants them to do. Remember who they're down with, who they throw up their horns, and who is instructing them to do these things in front of the Creator's children. There's nothing new under the sun. So that tongue thing is coming from this Hindu goddess Kali or whatever like that, Kali the Destroyer. This is who they're invoking. When they're doing that, they're invoking that spirit. You see, if you look at the little destroyer picture, she got the head of a man in her hand, and that's that being that's on the ground or whatever. That's supposed to be her husband, Shiva, I think, or whatever like that. And it's symbolically showing you the triumph over her husband and the slaying of the man. And it's twisted, man. Like the little rope around her neck is children, like dead children heads or whatever like that, and they'll try to spin it and tell you, oh, it means this is the cosmic play. But what that really is the feminine takeover. When Adam and Eve got deceived, it was because the seed got Eve to believe that Adam knew something that she didn't know. Like the connection between Adam or whatever like that and the Most High put her at some type of disadvantage. So ever since then, that's just been the nature of females. She wants power. She doesn't want to go with what the Most High said. Man, woman, child. That's order. It's all about the opposite. So this is what these women are paid to do. Over-sexualize the masses and then put the spells on them because they're too weak to even do anything or question anything because they're still busy lusting after them. But this is where that comes from. Nothing new under the sun. That tongue, that's the all-mocking tongue. It's basically saying, sticking the middle finger up to the Most High. and teaching y'all to do the same thing. It's a spirit, a transfer. It's no coincidence. Yeah, this is the Hindu, the thing I was telling you about. You got the dude head in your hand, like that's what his tongue out the mouth. That's what they're doing. A little poem. You can pause that and read that if you want to. But yeah, it opens the door for once this feminine uprising comes on, she's really possessed. She doesn't realize it, so she's being used to carry out the agenda of Satan. Remember, Satan is simple. He just wants to do the opposite of what the Creator does because he hates the Creator's creations and he doesn't want them to procreate and outlast him. He knows he has an expiration date. And I think a big problem a lot of times with this Christianity stuff, we don't like to transfer. See, a lot of people get mad at the Bible, but they never read it. They never read it. If they read it, the Bible would be their favorite book. I was the same way. Until I actually sat down and read it and studied it, and I flipped the perspective. I see what it's really saying. But long story short, this Kali the Destroyer is destroying all of the Most High's moral fabric inside of you to open up the door to allow you for this pride stuff. The exact opposite of what the Most High created, homosexuality, all of that. It's all a part of depopulizing the planet and all of that, which is a double-edged sword. But it opens the door for all this women, like just outright rebellion and stuff like that. And the sad thing about it is, this all started back in the 60s or whatever, and these women got our women to, start fighting with them when we didn't have nothing to fight for, as it was told. We didn't really have we had strong families, we had our own things, and of course they always found a way to try to stop that, with bombing the Black Wall Street and all of that. They always found a way they've always been trying to work on destroying us. So as it's been told to me, that's when this really started or crept in. The white woman had a problem with her man. I think Miss Shahrazad Ali was talking about that, like how the white woman had a problem with her man, and then all of a sudden you see black women marching with them, and then before you know it, they forget why they're marching, and then the white woman fall back, and then mostly they can only do things that they have your approval. You're like the overhead projector, so whatever script they run, they can't manifest it, but if they got you digesting it and living on it, then it can be brought about. So that's why they get our women to get up here and invoke these different goddesses and stuff like that, because through them these spells can be cast on the nation, and that's what's going on. It says, I say that the things that the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to the Most High, and I would not say that ye should have fellowship with devils. So yeah, fellowship, you shouldn't even be a fan. If you see these people are doing this or whatever like that, and you shouldn't even be a fan. That's fellowshipping with devils, because everything that they're sacrificing, your attention, your money, your everything, they're sacrificing to their gods and goddesses, which essentially all point back to Lucifer, which is ultimately bringing your captivity because you pissing the Most High off. And it says, and for this cause the Most High gave them up to vile affection. Even their women did change the natural use that was that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. I need to blow these words up. But basically, yeah, because y'all have let generation after generation get worse and worse. Lil Kim turned into Foxy and Lil Kim turned into X, Y, and Z, Cardi B and Nicki. Like, you didn't check this for generations. He gave y'all up to all that lust. All that lust you've been looking at and consuming. Now you got kids that just, they falling into that trap. So this is why it's important to check who we entertain and let our loved ones entertain, because all of this stuff has spiritual implications. This is why the world is in the shape that it's in now and it's falling down. This is the whole reason for Christ having to come back, because we're not thinking. So he got to come back to restore consciousness, however that's happening through sword, the word, whatever, it's trifold. So since we don't want to be obedient, he gave us up to this. Backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. Remember, bring curses forward. Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of the Most High, that which they commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do. And ultimately, we were told these ways and rebellious ways are from another people, another culture. And this people and culture has made us believe that we're all the same. We're taught that since kindergarten. We're all the same. Love everybody. That's not true. Remember, they teach us the opposite of what the Creator says. The Creator has nations, and it's a thing that we don't know what nation. If we went back in the Bible and we assigned and we did the research and sup with the Creator and let him tell us what nations are subscribed to what race, you would know exactly who these people are, where they come from, what they specialize in, what their role is, and what they're actually doing to keep you away from knowing who you are. It's a reason why you call yourself a color or 2 different continents as your nationality, when everybody else can tell you what country they come from and what their heritage is. But because you don't know it, you fall for anything, and you really do fit the mold of being 3/5 of a human when you let your women parade around the way you do, and your entertainers, your boys, your men. I think, shit, that's going to be another topic for another day. But how many babies is there inside the industry right now, grown men calling themselves baby, that can't control it? That's another topic. But envy not the oppressed and choose none of his ways, because when you do, you lust for things. It makes you sell your mama out, sacrifice your dad or whatever like that for monetary gain, so you could be the one doing this and having this when nobody else does. That's just the lust for life and the oppressor. You see him riding big fines, so you want to have money too. We were told not to choose none of his ways. So all of this with Gabrielle Union and them boy changing that boy and stuff like that, this is what that feminine spirit destroys. It destroys the moral fabric inside of the society to give way to all this type of vile affection coming through. Changing this little boy to it's a family thing, all of this. And they probably did this deal just to make sure that LeBron and this boy's son play together and have a great storyline or whatever like that. But our disobedience allowed this to creep into our culture. Look at this. 3 women. Women or women. Let me say, give up the natural affection. Look at these fun boys. Look at these fun boys. It's a damn shame. And these are the same type of people that people would defend. Like, boy, people get mad when you talk about this, boy. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. You know why? Because look what was written. If a man also lie with mankind as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, and they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So you can go ahead and you can support them, because I done broke this down so far about what these people doing, what they trying to bring down. And I done put out scripture to tell you, if you're fellowshipping with darkness or you're lying to them, you're defending them, you're going to go right down with them. And that's what's happening. You see that society is falling. You got too many people stuck on the flesh. They not in the spirit. So they get caught up in the ways of the world. This ain't of us. We ain't ever supposed to do this. Most High don't love no faggot. It says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? Be not deceived. Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves or mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Yeah, man, like, it just can't be done. It can't be done. So all these entertainers lying to y'all, and all of y'all idolizing them, and they pushing y'all to do fornication, and this is the culture now. Like, women, these girls, they loose, and shit, I done had my time too, but I always knew something wasn't right about it, man. And then, this is what drew me to this, but I done paid my dues. I done did my thing to, repent from my ways. But don't follow these thieves, these finessers, these all these rapping about doing all this stuff, and we only rap about doing degrading stuff to our own people. drunkards, people telling you to get overly, stimulated or whatever like that, covetous, always worrying about what the next, but none of you can't make it. That's our whole culture today. So you tell me how many people. But meanwhile, while all this going on, people supporting these faggots and stuff like that, but about 50% last time they checked, 2012, 50% of all marriages end up in divorce. And I know it ain't all, but it's like basically people getting, again, too attached to the flesh. They're getting married for the wrong reasons, just to say they did it for security. Women sticking with dudes just because of security, or they whatever, or men only going after women because of how they look. Like, it's everything is just backwards. Everything is backwards. We've already been contaminated before we even try to marry. Like, girls you got body counts out this world. You can't. So when you take that on, you taking on all them different spirits that has been through her. But this is why these marriages are not ending, because we're contaminating ourselves, and we're only bringing forth cursed seeds to keep this thing going. But meanwhile, everybody's supporting gay rights. This is what the result of that is. This is what they want. They want the family structure to be broken down, because Satan just want to drag you down, And it's also making our women, they have a reputation of being a certain type of way. And sisters are really difficult to deal with, the ones that, it just seemed like everybody followed the same person. And I always used to say that, but that same spirit is that Jezebel spirit, aka that Kali spirit. Like, it doesn't matter. These are people who just mix up different paganisms from throughout time to get one thing done. So that Kali spirit is that Jezebel spirit, and that is running rampant through our sisters. They don't know that it comes through the hair weaves, it comes through the makeup, it comes through everything that they do. They want to dress so promiscuous, they want to be more sexually promiscuous. They're doing everything, defiling themselves, and it's tarnishing them. It's making them rotten spiritually from the inside out. And there's nothing you can do to get that purity back. So all this fornication and all of that is making them ratchet and all of this and loud and like that. Even though it's a stereotype, it is coming from the Jezebel type Kali spirit. That's the effect of it. When we stand up in front of Rihanna, we entertain, listen to their music, it's making us subconsciously, evolving us into something. That's what Destiny's Child was sent to do. Deceive the women, take them into this lane. So now we're couple generations in. This is what we've birthed. This is why marriages are not, a thing anymore. Like, shit is tough, man. Shit is tough. It's really tough. But this is the result of these artists and entertainers guiding you this way, making you feel like this is good to do. Like, it's all that Kali spirit, and it's put in so subtly, and it's all one agenda to get you away from your man and your man away from you, so y'all can't love each other and y'all can't realize that y'all are one flesh. You submit to him, he submits to the creator, everything is good, you bring more seeds and you live to do it again. But right now we're at odds. Supporting faggots and their rights and everybody else except our rights and what we need to be doing. So this is why the creator's coming to wipe this out. When it says we struggle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This is what it's all about. These rituals they be casting, these spells they be doing, and y'all be doing these challenges and stuff like that. All them should be rituals, man. All this should be rituals. So the devil really ain't got to do no work. He boasted to the Most High that he would have his creation serving him, and that's exactly what's happening. Hence the reason for floods. Hence the reasons for the firestorm that's to come. This is why the world has to be reset all the time, because we get off into letting Satan do this, and we have to apply the story of the serpent, and we got to make it apply for 2020. We got to see Snake as being depicted as wisdom or certain knowledge, occult, like hidden knowledge, or things that they think they tempt you with to commit spiritual adultery. This is what Eve was tempted with. You know, it wasn't a snake. It was a certain type of a being, an energy. There wasn't there wasn't probably sun kissed, and was telling them like they hide, like tempting her, and ever since then she's been defiant and wanting to know, or trying to get that power. That's what the world is doing. That it's not so much the woman, it's just that's the thing to do on the earth if you want to corrupt the balance. How about that? So it's not pointing fingers at the women, because we need our women and they're a reflection of us. So I'm really directing this towards men. Like, I think this is a reflection of us, that we can allow our culture to prostitute our women like this. We're going to be held responsible for that. We already are. We cannot support this shit, support this strip club culture shit, degrade our women, and then turn around and talk about how it ain't no good women out here. But we pump that shit to them all the time. They're a reflection of us. So it's a gut check for both sides. But we just got to point it out. And I started with the women first because they're our most important piece. They can't get to us unless they get to them. And then I'm looking at what they're doing and what they got. It's a shame. It says, I suffer a woman not to teach or usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. That's pretty straightforward. Woman ain't supposed to be talking over her man or doing whatever, independent. No, that ain't your role. That ain't what you're supposed to be doing. But this Kali, this Jezebel spirit, teaches the opposite of that. And it's all easy to see where this is coming from. It's all a societal thing. You gotta remember, these colonizers, these invaders, they've been rolling in packs all around the world, raping and pillaging and ravaging, because just like Esau, he wasn't given a land of his own. He's a vagabond. He's always going around stealing, pillaging, and taking stuff. Do your research on Esau and Jacob. Just do your research, and then try to understand the nations of Edom and Israel. Even if you don't believe in the words and how they use to say them, it's still representing a people, and we are those people of Deuteronomy chapter 28, 68, 28, that tells you about the curses. Even if we didn't come over here in ships, who did they tell that to? It applies to us. So we have to end this whole shit about we're all one, and it's not racist to tell the truth. So these people have been doing this shit long enough to where now they're in cahoots with it. You see, Kali is a Hindu type of thing. So these Indian people, everybody, the same people who own stores in your neighborhood and don't give a shit about the Asians, all them people, this is the crafty council that we're going to get into a little later on. But they all throw their little device. Oh, you got a little Shiva over here. Oh, you got these hand symbols from this Wicca, this pagan stuff. They're just interchanging all this stuff just to channel out all these demons on the earth. And they're using the Most High's people to do it. So this is just a little backdrop on the so-called queen, the royal family. Like, notice that their seal is a unicorn and a tongue, sticking the tongue out, sticking the all-mocking tongue. They're defiant against the creator. These are your enemies. They got all the gold. They got all your stuff, got your identity, your books that tell you really from this land, all of the stuff that tells you what's what, and they gave you this ass backwards education, got you thinking backwards. It says all of your enemies open their mouths wide against you, and they scoff and they gnash their teeth and say, we have swallowed her up, and this is the day we have waited for and lived to see. So they're living it up. They got all the world gold. They got all the Most High children ass backwards in submission, working for them. Man, they living it up. They portraying as royalty and all of that, and this is a stolen throne, man. These is devils. We know that. And they go from them to the Vatican and all of that. And it says, I know your works, your tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not, but a synagogue of Satan. That's another topic too. I'll do a video about that later. But Hitler was really trying to wipe the Jews away because they are a part of the people who are false claiming. They're taking your identity and running the world with your inheritance and running it into the ground. So this is why we see people like Leo Cohen and them running hip hop. Like, you don't have anything to do with this culture, but you run it. You dictate what comes out. You're telling these dudes to be effeminate. You're telling these women to do this, and you're a part of that conglomerate, the crafty council on one level, to keep the Most High's kids, chosen people, in a daze. So this is why I put that out there, because it's all a chain of command. Vatican, the Queen, whatever, they're financing this whole world that is governed by these gatekeepers of this entertainment industry to keep us inside of this spiritual lockdown. They're using all types of demons from any different which way to carry out anything but bring the order of the Most High. So this is why I put that here to show you. Like, look at Lear Cohen and stuff like that. And it's so funny, that Run DMC song, like you see him there with Thug and all, like pushing that homo agenda. Look at your Migos doing the hand symbols and stuff like that. Remember, it's just about gestures and stuff, but it's just to point out these are the people that they have to submit to. So they can't come out and be big unless they go through this process like that. It says they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. The United Nations and stuff like that. That's what it's talking about. But the Bible is so deep, it's on every level. It could be crafty counsel in the music industry, crafty counsel. But when you put the picture together, they're talking about the United Nations. I mean, like I said, all the people in your neighborhoods, the own store, the Chinese store, the liquor store, all the people that own stores and everything except your people, that's the crafty counsel. They know the truth, and they're all in cahoots to keep you away from knowing the truth. So their good thing can keep going, because the Bible teaches order. These nations are supposed to be under us the same way they have us under them. But the difference is we would rule with the law and righteousness, and the earth would be balanced and bring forth fruit and not be barren and polluted and corrupt and full of lust and temptation and fornication and adultery, therefore on the brink of extinction. Like, that's as simple as that. As simple as that. But as long as you don't know who you are, you're black, you're African American, you're going to act black and you're going to act African American. And they say, remember, they say we're 3/5 of a human, right? And these artists and these entertainers get up there and they act like it. And the funny thing about it is, touching on that Leo Cohen thing and all of that, but like, that Run DMC song was so big back in the day because that's probably what ushered the emergence of the devil getting inside of hip hop or whatever like that. That was a knocking the door down, so to say.